Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to take a look at Terros and how you can tank and how you can take on Terros in the Vault of the Incarnates Raid in Dragonflight. So as you guys can see, we are taking on Terros. Pretty straightforward fight, to be honest with you. Not a lot to keep track of. It's mainly it's a DPS check, to be honest with you. But to cut a long story short, you will engage the boss. There's very few mechanics that you need to be aware of, but we'll break them down as they come along. So the first one is Rock Blast. You're going to see this kind of big swirl that appears around players, and it's going to create these spikes along the floor. Now, ideally, all of the players need to stack together so that all of the spikes appear in the same location. Then the tank that is currently being targeted by the boss needs to make sure that the concussive blast, the line, targets the spike. So you'll see here, there's shattering impact you need to avoid. So shattering impact is this one. It's got like just a flat circle basically, and there's no I call them like winds coming off of it. So this one you just avoid. It's fairly straightforward. Then there'll be debris that falls along the field after he strikes this move that you'll see. This you also avoid in these swirls. Then he does concussive slam. Now he'll target the tank with concussive slam. It will be a direct line. All DPS and healers are to get out of the way of the direct line, so that obviously we can have a pretty easy time. You don't want to be hit by any of it. It's the tank's job to make sure that he hits all the spikes he can with it from behind. So that's basically it, to be honest with you. There's really nothing else on normal difficulty to be aware of when it comes to this guy. As you can see, this is a great example of the swirls. So the players with these little circles that you see here. So you'll see there's some players in the background there with little circles around them. These players must not soak. These players must make sure that they stand behind the soaking party away from each other to keep it in a direct line. The rest of the DPS are meant to all stack together and help soak up the damage. So this guy here needs to keep himself out of the circle, and then that will prevent a lot of AoE damage. Once the spikes have been laid down, all the tank has to do, line himself up to take out the spikes, let the boss kill some spikes, party heals up, tank switch aggro, and it should be as good as that. Here you'll see I have quite a few stacks, so the damage I take is amplified quite dramatically. Your tanks need to swap aggro appropriately. And that's basically it. Honestly, after a couple repeats of this, see, again, I'm tanking another one, by the way. This is not advisable. Your tank shouldn't be tanking so many stacks. The other tank I had to inform to taunt, you can see there in the chat box. But yeah, once you've finished the phase, or once you've basically finished your timer in this phase, the boss will then do what's called Annihilation. Now, Annihilation is an area-wide attack that's going to consume a portion of your field. You'll no longer be able to go to this side of the field. So it's very, very, very important that you basically, focus on doing this, essentially. You need to get out the way of his attacks, and then from there, you're basically all ready, set, and ready to go. And you'll see here that he leaves this kind of field. You don't want to spread him too far because you don't want to cut your map in half. So you want to try and keep everything so that you have access to as wide a map as possible. And that's it. He's just basically going to repeat all the mechanics again, and you have to go through each phase. Now, ideally, you need to have the boss a bit lower than this in terms of health. Unfortunately, my recording cut out, as you can tell by the time. But you need to ideally have the boss down by about 35% after your first phase with Bloodlust, and the rest of the phases you want to kind of do about 22% each phase. So that's pretty much it. Everything else from there, pretty straightforward. Aim away, make sure you hit the spikes. If you don't hit the spikes, your raid's going to take a lot of damage. And that's basically it. It's honestly not too difficult. So yeah, that is it for Terros. Honestly, there's not too much that you need to focus on. As you can see here, I'm making sure that I slam as many spikes down as possible. Healers, at that point, you are going to need to make sure that you AoE heal. It's going to help you out a lot. But that is it for Terros. So nothing else really too crazy. This repeats 4 times over, and you need to get the boss down. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in Annihilation, and you will die. But that is basically it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know if it helps, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.